Hello everybody, this is the biology exam review for G10 semester 4 at the International School of Innovation. Let's start with the nutrition in plants. The nutrients needed by a green plant to grow well. If a horse gets hungry, what does it do? Mainly, it nibbles grass, so it needs food. If a tiger gets hungry, what does it do? Mainly, it hunts a prey, so it needs food. If you get hungry, what do? Either you cook food or you order food. So, here, what about the green plants? What do they eat? How do they get their food? Mainly, these four components are responsible for the green plants. Keep in mind that we have light, we have CO2, we have minerals, and we have water. These four components are the components or the needed for the green plants to grow well and to develop normally. So these are the four components. Keep them in mind in the coming slides. Green plants. What are green plants? They are plants that contain the green pigment, which is called chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is a pigment that absorbs sunlight. It's present only in the green plants. It's present green plant that absorbs sunlight. Green plants and water. The objective of the experiment is to study the importance of water for the growth of green plants. We have to water a cornfield in a dry season. This is watering a cornfield, and this one plants grow slowly and will die in the presence of a dry season. Complete the table of conditions and results. Plant 1 and plant 2. Plus means presence, minus means absence. So, table of conditions and results, this table. Plant 1, watermelons exist, while plant 2, no. Light in both of them exist, CO2 both of them. Green plant, they grow normally, while these green plants, they grow slowly, then they will die. So indicate the variable factor in this experiment. Compare the aspect of the plants. Analyze and draw out a conclusion. First, the variable factor in this experiment is the presence or absence of water. Aspect of the plant. Plants 1 that are waters, they are tall and green, while plant 2 that are not waters, they are shorter and yellow in color. After watering plants 1, the plant grow tall and green, yet without water, green plants become yellow and will die. The conclusion here is that green plants need water to grow tall and to grow green and normally. Green plants and mineral salt. Objective of this experiment is to study the importance of mineral salts. So this one is for the mineral salts for the growth of green plants. Complete the following table of conditions. Plant A and plant B. Plant A, both of them contain water. Plant A, no minerals, while plant B contain minerals. Both of them, they are exposed to sunlight, and both of them, they are in an open air containing CO2. The result is the first one. The absence of mineral salt, the green plant, they grow slowly, while whenever we have mineral salts, the green plants, they grow rapidly and they grow normally. The variable factor in this experiment: compare the aspect of the plant, analyze and draw out a conclusion. So the variable factor in this experiment is the presence or the absence of mineral salts. Compare the aspect of the plants. Plant A that's grown in distilled water are short, while plant B that's grown in water rich in mineral salt, they are tall. Analyze the obtained results. With distilled water only, the plant A does not grow well, yet with water rich in minerals, the plant B grows fast and grows taller. Draw out a conclusion. The conclusion here is that green plants, they need mineral salts to grow fast. Green plants and sunlight. Objective of the experiment is to study the importance of the light for the growth of the green plants. First, we have two plants. First is exposed to sunlight and the second is not. Whenever placed in the black box, the plants are yellow and they are not well developed, while in the second case, the plant is exposed to sunlight, they are green and they are well developed. So the variable factor here is the presence or the absence of sunlight. Complete the following table. Plant 1 and plant 2. Plant 1, plant 2, both of them they contain water. Plant 1, no light, absence of light, while plant 2 we have light. Both of them they are exposed to air. Duration both 8 days. Green plant they are yellow and not well developed, while in plant 2 they are green and they are well developed. Indicate the variable factor of this experiment, compare the aspect, compare the appearance of the plants, and the last question is analyze and draw out a conclusion. So indicate the variable factor. The variable factor is the light. Compare the aspect of the plants. Plant 1, its grow in darkness is yellow and not well developed, while plant 2, that's green in the presence, is grown, sorry, in the presence of light, it's green and well developed. Can you analyze? Analyze in the absence of light, plant 1 becomes yellow and is not well developed, yet in presence of light, plant 2 grows green and is well developed. What can you conclude here? We can conclude that green plants, they need light to grow well and remain green in color. Green plants and CO2. Objective of this experiment is to study the importance of CO2 for the growth of green plants. We have two plants, A and B. A grows normally, bean plant grows normally. After 15 days it grows tall and green color, while in plant 2, which contain inside the potassium hydroxide, note that potassium hydroxide absorbs carbon dioxide from the air, so the plant becomes smaller, it will become somehow yellow in color. Complete the following table. You have to complete that both of them contain water, both contain light, both contain fertilizers, while A contains CO2, second no CO2. Green plants in normal condition they grow normally, while in abnormal, in the absence of CO2, the green plant they will wither and die. Indicate the variable factor also in this experiment as we said in the other experiments. Compare the aspect of the plant, analyze the obtained results, and draw out a conclusion. So the variable is CO2, carbon dioxide. Compare the aspect, plant A that's grown in the presence of carbon dioxide is tall and green, while plant B that's grown in the absence of carbon dioxide withers and become yellowish. Analyze the obtained results. In the presence of carbon dioxide, plant A becomes tall and green, yet in the absence of carbon dioxide, plant B withers and become yellowish. Draw out a conclusion. Green plants, they need carbon dioxide to grow well. What we can conclude here is that green plants, they need they need water, they need mineral salts, they need carbon dioxide, and they need light to grow well. This is the four main components, sorry, water, mineral salts, carbon dioxide, and light. Moving to chapter 2, the nutrition. Plants absorb water and minerals. Label this plant, we know that this is the leaf, this is the stem, this is the buds, this is the roots. What do green plants need? We said they need light, they need water, they need CO2, and they need minerals. Green plants and water. Observe the following, perform the experiment, then answer the following question. We have tube A, clay plus water. Tube B, we have a clay plus water, and the roots are present. And they have the stem, the root hairs here are present in water, where the level of water decreases, as we see here, the difference between these two. And tube C, the plant the stem without the root hairs, the level of water approximately stayed the same after 2 days. Let's see what's needed here. Compare tubes A to tube B at the beginning of the experiment. What is the role of tube A? Compare the level of water in tubes A and B. Already I compared this. What may I conclude from the experiment carried out on tubes A and B? You have to say that both tubes contain water and they are covered by clay. Tube A doesn't contain a plant, while tube B contains a plant. What is the role of tube A? Tube A is a control tube used to compare and to explain the experimental results. Compare the level of water in tubes A and B at the end of the experiment. Level of water in tube A without a plant remains the same, while in tube B, which contains a plant, drops to lower level. What we may conclude from this experiment, the green plants, they absorb water. What is the variable factor between tubes B and C? What is the comparison of the level of water in tubes B to that in tube C at the end of the experiment? Deduce the structure responsible for the absorption of water in green plant. The variable factor is the presence of the roots. Compare the level of water in the tube B to that in tube C at the end of the experiment. Level of water in tube C, where the plant doesn't have roots, remains the same, while in tube B, where the plant has roots dipped in water, the level of water drops to lower level. Deduce the structure responsible for the absorption of water is mainly the roots. Observing the roots closely, we have something known by the root cap, which is this region, and this is the root hairs. Which part of the root specifically absorbs the water? The root cap or the root hairs, or even both of them? Let's see. This is an experiment showing that we have two test tubes containing two similar plants, two identical plants. One of them, the root hairs are placed in oil and the root cap is placed in water, while the second, the root hairs are present in water in addition to the root cap. The first case, the plant grows normally, and the second, it wilts, and finally it will die. Indicate the variable factor. It presents the position of the root hair, the part of the root which is dipped in water, root cap or the root hair. Distinguish the conditions to which both plants are exposed. In plant 1, root hairs and the root cap are dipped in water, but in plant 2, the root hairs are dipped in oil while the root cap is dipped in water. Analyze. After dipping the root hairs and the root cap in water, the green plant grows, while after dipping the root hairs in oil and the root cap in water, the green plant withers and dies. Draw out a conclusion. Root hairs in the root are responsible for the absorption of water in green plants. Transpiration in green plants. What is transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water vapor through some plant organs. Which organs? Let's see. This experiment, we have two plants, plant with leaves and the other without leaves. Water droplets are formed on the inner walls of the plastic bag of plant covering plant A, while no water droplets are formed on the inner wall of the plastics, meaning that the leaves, they are the structure responsible for transpiration. Major difference, leaves and the absence of leaves. So plant A has leaves while plant B doesn't have leaves. In which plastic bag is water vapor formed in plant A having leaves? Deduce the part, mainly the leaves. So transpiration, through transpiration, green plants, they release water vapor from their leaves. Supply of chlorophyll plants with mineral substances. So autotrophs, they are green plants, they are chlorophyll plants, while heterotrophs, they are non-green plants, they are non-chlorophyll plants. What the meaning of photosynthesis? Photosynthesis, it's a process through which chlorophyll plants they can produce their own food by using the inorganic matter. They're using the mineral salts. NOx solution. NOx solution is known to be the liquid that contains all the minerals needed for the normal growth of the plant, like NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Heterotrophs like fungi cannot grow in a mineral medium unless they need an organic substance like sugar, glucose, sucrose, and others. Note that the growth of the fungus increases in the presence of sugar and minerals. You have to know that very high and very low temperature inactivate the growth of fungi. The optimum temperature for the growth of the fungus is the room temperature, about 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. Light does not affect the growth of fungus. Photometer is an apparatus used to measure the quantity of the water absorbed by a specific plant or the roots of the plants. Transport of the crude sap, which activity crude sap, the water and mineral ions that are taken by the roots from the side move to the leaves and then they move around to the all the plant. This mineral solution is called crude sap. The conducting tissue of the crude sap is called xylem. It's found in the root, stem, and the leaves. It's composed mainly of vessels. The crude sap had ascending or increasing upward transport from the roots up to the stem and the leaves of the plant. Transpiration, said about transpiration, is the loss of water from the leaves. Stomata, what are the stomata? The stomata, they are tiny openings or pores in plant tissue that allow for gas exchange. Stomata are typically found in plant leaves but can also be found in some stems. Specialized cells known as guard cells surround stomata and function to open and close stomata pores. Stomata allows plant to take in carbon dioxide and to which is needed by the plant for the process of making food, which is called photosynthesis. Transpiration mainly is linked to the opening of stomata. As number of stomata increase, opening stomata increase, the transpiration rate will increase for sure. Factors that affect transpiration: light. Light favors the opening of stomata and the vaporization of the transpired water. Temperature. Temperature increases with the increase of temperature up to 30 degrees. Above 35, stomata will close. State of the soil, humidity of the soil, meaning that the drop in the humidity or in the temperature of the soil reduces absorption and establish water deficiency. This will lead to the closure of the stomata. Regarding your exam, guys, maybe in the exam I'm going to give you tables like the experiments we did in class about the variable factor, the aspect, analysis of the experiments, and so on. Maybe you're going to have an experiment about the difference of the transpiration rate. You're going to draw a graph, so you have to draw a graph with a title, give it a scale. If we have, for example, values, you have to erase them. You have to know the mycorrhiza, what's the mycorrhiza, what's the effect of mycorrhiza on the plant, and you have to know the comparison, how to compare less than, greater than, larger, smaller, hypothesis. You have to know the different action verbs and to know how to answer each question. Study well for your exam. It's not hard, so do your best. Good luck. Bye bye.